Welcome to part two with my guest, Amirah Hall. In this episode, she's going to talk about her work, including her 3 books, Love Up Your Life, Manifesting Miracles 101, and The Essential Guide to Spiritual Awakening. Welcome back, Amirah.
Thank you so much, Jill. What a fun day this is.
Yes, we have so much to cover. You have so much information to share with my listeners. And I think, I'm looking at 2 of these books, Love Up Your Life and Manifesting Miracles 101. This is content everybody wants to know more about. Everybody's been sequestered and cloistered due to COVID for the last couple of years, and they're just a little scared to get out there and find love. But you have some information and inspiration from your book, Love Up Your Life, and from testimony of clients regarding finding love. Do you want to share that with our listeners?
I'd be very happy to, but I want to just say that these books are a culmination of my spiritual awakening and my journey
I
of
love it.
trying to figure it out for myself. And after my near-death experience, I was really thrown to the wolves. I didn't know what happened to me, and I had to figure it out. I knew something happened, and I wasn't the same. And on this journey, I went to probably 10 different psychics and healers and different. I didn't dare go see a psychologist because I thought they are going to deem me crazy, going to lock me up and throw away the key. And I knew I wasn't that. I could barely function in my job at the time. But in the journey, they all told me something different. They all told me, well, you died. Well, no, you didn't, but you went really, really far. And so I had to figure it out. I had to dive deep within me. And
Yes.
in my journey of healing myself of the dysfunctional family situation I grew up with, and some of the religious programming, and all of the things that I had accumulated. See, in my near-death experience, I learned several things. One, that love is the fabric of all creation.
Yes.
I learned that absolutely everything is that. And to this day, I still struggle and try to, you know, um, intellectualize that. But it's not an intellectual process, it's a feeling, it's a vibration that permeates all things. And
Right.
so I understood that. But what I also got to see, and people are going to have to buy my book because I didn't share how I got to this part and what the ascended masters and what I saw and what was revealed to me. But the second most important thing is that energy along the way, it was like I saw a timeline. That was my review. And it showed me that when I have stuck energy or fears
Right.
or
Fear.
doubts
Fear is a big one.
or right, well, all of these low vibrations of anger, of confusion, of criticism and judgment, all those low vibrations got stuck on my timeline. And those are the things that made me sick, with my autoimmune challenges, with my dysfunctional relationship issues, with all of those issues I was facing. It was caused by stuck energy. And that to me was incredibly liberating, simple, and powerful, because I'm like, great, now what do I do?
So
If you
you
tell me what's wrong and give me a solution, then I can fix it, right? Does that make sense?
Right. So you went back through your own personal timeline and saw times in your life when you had what you call stuck energy or maybe traumatic experience, and that made the energy stuck. And then you figured out a way to free it up.
What I learned were tools. I learned from my near-death experience how to apply the quantum physics. At the time in 1998, I don't even think Deepak Chopra was talking about his quantum physics and quantum mechanics and the notions of that. But
Yeah.
when I did find his book, I remember going, that's it. That's what I downloaded, was this information. And then I created these tools. That is what Love Up Your Life is: 10 simple steps using these tools to clear your energy to become super magnetic.
I
And
love it.
I called it Love Up Your Life because it's kind of a trick, because everybody's looking for love out there.
Right.
But truly, it's an inside job. You've got to heal yourself, refine your vibration, then you'll attract somebody that you want to be with, not like your soulmate that's not.
Well, you won't attract from your wound, you'll attract from your heart.
Perfectly said. Absolutely.
So you have
And a whole
tools.
different, yeah. So that's what that book is, and it explains it in a very simple process and guides you through how to do that. And if you practice the simple steps, and one of the super magnifiers, it's a free gift. Everybody can go to my website. It's called Stress Buster. It's a combination of those tools that I teach that will get people driving through the process immediately,
Oh, I love
because
that.
it's like an energy shower. We just got to start letting go, folks. Just let go.
Well, and people need to do practices, and this sounds like there's an offering here where they can actually do some work on themselves through your stress buster. Again, they can find that on your website, amirahhall.com. That's AMIRAHHALL.com, all one word. Yeah, so you have this actual technique or an actual system that will help them.
And it's easy peasy. Just follow along. Everything will make sense. And then Manifesting Miracles 101 is a guidebook. Actually, it's not one of those books that you'll pick up and read from chapter to chapter. It was actually created for my students, to give them a reflection of what we're doing, because the work I do is experiential. I
Yes.
guide people through the process. We're not there taking active notes. You're not there to regurgitate more information. This is a whole different way of learning, because it's an inside job, and we're going to other dimensions. So when you jump out of it and keep having to read, it takes you out of that, where you might get some juice, the good stuff, the
Right.
meat
They
of the
go in,
issue.
right. It's like keep them out of their head and in their body and in their heart. And the experiential is the way to teach. And I think we're going to see a shift back to that, especially now with the nodes and South Node in Scorpio and North Node in Taurus. Scorpio is all about have the experience, feel it, be it.
And own it,
Right.
because once you have that, you become unshakable.
Right. And this actually helps people connect with their own source of power and not look for, like you said earlier, a plug into an outside source.
That's exactly the goal I have in my programs. And I am there I often say, I'm here to hold the ladder, and you're going to climb it. I can just hold it for you and say, one foot up, another inch, another inch. There you go. You got it. And you keep climbing and climbing. You're over the rooftop, and it can be scary. But sometimes we hit some rough spots and the ladder starts shaking. So I'm there to stabilize and remove those blocks so you can keep climbing. Otherwise, you're going to stay at your default level. You're not
That
going to break through that glass
That's
ceiling.
right. And it's really good to have a guide to help you as you start that ascent on the ladder. So that Manifesting Miracles book sounds excellent. And then your third book, The Essential Guide to Spiritual Awakening. Can you tell our listeners about that?
Yeah, that's a culmination of my understanding of what the awakening is. I've been, curious myself. There's people experts that I'm sure as an astrologer, you can explain it much better than I can. I wanted to know from a simpleton's perspective, what is it? What's going to feel like? I remember being on the balcony meditating in Egypt one time. I think it was in 2009. And I was participating in a book called Transforming Through 2012 and Beyond. I wrote a chapter, one of those compilation books. And my guide came to me, and he was standing, it was like an orb of light that was standing behind me. And I asked, what's this spiritual awakening all about? And the answer I got was this: imagine today you're a caterpillar, and tomorrow you're a butterfly.
Oh, so it's like the same, you go through metamorphosis, but you're at essence the same being, but you go through a transformation, a chrysalis. I was
Yeah,
just talking
yeah.
about this today with a client, the butterfly cocoons.
How beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that's a great metaphor for the process that people go through in their transformation.
Well, imagine what life is like as a slug or a caterpillar, inching along, and you only eat what's in front of you, and there's no, you don't know the big world, right? It's just inch by inch, low to the ground, and you're hiding. And then being a butterfly, talk about freedom, talk about color, talk about expression and curiosity, and so I just keep trying to feel that. and know that's it. And then my guide said, and beware, there will be many charlatans among you.
That's true. They were there in the 90s, they were there in the 2000s, they were there in the 2010s, and they're here in the 2020s.
And they're
Fake
cranking up,
shamans.
aren't they?
Yeah, well, because the internet makes it easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. In the 90s, you actually had to walk the walk and go and do the teachings, and you had to experience it, and you had to study with a teacher or a guide, or at least go and have the experiencing. These days, people get what I call fast food spirituality on the
Mm-hmm.
internet, and then they are a astrologer, or they are a spiritual teacher or a spiritual coach. And as you and I know, that you can call yourself that after you have basically earned it and the wisdom that you've accumulated. So it's going to be interesting. I think, again, the node shifting to Scorpio is going to say we need to see the proof in the pudding. You can't just purport that you know something because you learned it off the internet. You have to actually show the depth of
And
the
or got an online certificate, or
right.
a weekend training, and so it is. Now you can make a business, and yeah, I applaud everybody doing that. And there's no
Right.
question we're in this space of needing some more healers and guides, but there's also a time to become discerning of
Right.
who you hook your star with. I had that lesson with, his name was what I good thing I forgot it.
Yeah. We're not going to
The shaman from San Diego.
Oh
Good
yeah.
thing that I
The
had that
unnamed
experience.
shaman who shall not
Yeah,
be named.
yeah. Well, he passed away because he would have been charged. See, there's a lot of spiritual teachers that I've encountered over the years, especially, well, they have to have been male teachers because they were, inappropriately attaching themselves to females and sort of hooking females, seducing them through the second chakra, and all of a sudden they feel like, oh, I'm in love with you, and next thing you know, they're having an affair, and
Right.
blah blah blah. I don't want to go down that path, but
The
you know,
old Bhagwan Rajneesh or Osho syndrome.
oh, I've seen it
Wild,
myself,
wild
and yeah,
country. Did you?
yeah.
I don't know if you
But
saw
let's
that
talk about
documentary.
real love.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
talk
talk
about
about
real
true
love.
love and true spirituality. You help your clients get into their heart. And how can listeners just easily shift their awareness into their heart? Self love, self awareness, self awakening.
You
What is your
know,
advice?
for me, it starts with energy, and it ends with energy. So that's why I'm giving away the stress buster, a quick and easy drive through. Start flushing the energies, right? I want to
Yes.
share a story of Nurse Katie. Okay, she was the chief, I don't know what they call the chief nurse in ER in Dubai when I was living over there. And she's a Canadian nurse. And she came to me. I don't know how her friend referred her to me. She didn't really know. Oh no, we met at a Canada Day party. And so she thought, well, maybe I'd come, and maybe she'd come to me, I could help her out. Well, I look at the energy. I see where the energetic blocks are.
What does she need
And
help with?
there was a few things, but she told me she hadn't had a date in 10 years. I'd say that was one of them. And I know she was having job and career problems or challenges with the employer, and morals, and some ethic issues in Dubai. And stress. Okay.
Yes.
So I did what I do, and I don't know what I do sometimes. I'm clearing the energy. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
I sit you down, I dial in, I'll tell you where there's a problem, where there's a block. I can relate to or explain, okay, what happened when you were 7 years old. And then we go into a dialogue, kind of like talking to a friend. I'm in a light trance, I don't remember it. I record them so that you can listen to it after, because so much comes down. Sometimes I start talking really fast because the information really is coming through fast. So I dialed into her, and I can't recall what exactly I cleared, but she contacted me like 10 days after, and she goes, Amirah, you're not going to believe this, but I went out with some friends and I met this guy, and I haven't been apart from him since. To
Wow.
this day, it's been 6 years, her forever partner.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
in love.
After
Well,
not having
yeah,
a relationship for 10
yeah,
years. Th-
yep.
That's the proof is in the pudding again with that. Like that's
Well,
where energy work. Yeah, energy.
yeah, sorry about that. I she sent me a lot of ladies that were looking for love too. But I often say it doesn't work the first time for everybody. Sometimes you need 4 sessions. I don't know, because we're dealing with the quantum field. We're working interdimensionally, right? And
Right.
it just so happened that I put the key in the slot and turned it, and boom, it opened the treasures, right?
Right.
And so it's I'd like to say this work is extremely fast, but sometimes it takes a minute, you know.
Right. And I
Uh,
think the key is that you released or removed some blockages. And then for her, that was all about having, she came for several reasons, but the immediate shift could be seen in her ability to have a connection with a man.
Absolutely. And friendships. And it seemed like people were noticing her different. She didn't do anything per se, but she said, people are telling me I look more radiant. I just look fresher. I look more approachable. So her vibration had shifted so much that it was immediately noticeable. Now, with the princess, let me tell you a fun story. Um, this was amazing because this woman contacted me. I didn't know who they were. This was while I was living in Dubai, also. All I knew is a black SUV came to pick me up, blacked out windows, and we were driving for a long time going to wherever we were going. I had no idea it was a princess. And we were going to the royal family palace. And so after an hour and a half driving in the desert, we get to this place. And after a long sort of process of getting to know each other and politeness and ceremony of tea and dates and cookies, then coffee and then lunch and then, oh my gosh, it just went on and on. We finally got to the meat and potatoes. We went into the guest bedroom and I started processing with her and looking at where the energy is. So when I was looking at her, I said, what happened to you at 18 years old? And she said, oh my gosh. She goes, I cried for 2 weeks. I said, well, what happened? She goes, I was planning to get married to one man, and my family told me I had to marry the prince. She was the cousin to the royal family. She didn't want to marry to the immediate royal family because her days of any sense of freedom would be gone,
Yeah.
or liberty. So she cried for 2 weeks. And basically, what I saw was she'd shut off her baby maker. It's an
Oh,
energy,
yeah.
it's a creative center in the second chakra that she literally shut off. And she had 3 children, but they were all in vitro fertilization. And as a senior royal member, we're talking her husband's number 3 in the country. You can bet they checked me out before I got to the palace,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out for people that I've been vetted. um,
Vetted by the royal family of Dubai. There you go. Do you
by
need
the Secret Service in the Middle East. Okay,
doesn't it
so
doesn't get much harder to get vetted than that, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So when that happened, she had a fourth in vitro and it failed, and that's why they reached out to me. And her sister found
Oh,
me.
okay. Okay. Because she was trying to have a
So I'm
fourth
thinking,
child.
oh, great. Yeah. Now they've got the fourth one lined up. The top medical teams money can buy are coming from Europe. They got it all set up. She's going to start some hormone therapy and she just wants me to make sure it happens. Right. I'm like, great. This is really great. My life is on the line now. I know
The pressure's
it.
on.
Yeah, exactly. So I told her, I said, we need at least 6 sessions. Okay. I'm thinking this is God's work. I'm only going to facilitate your body coming into alignment, right? I can't take credit for this. So I am the facilitator. I'm serving you by clearing the energy. That's all. And then we have to let go. As we say, inshallah in Arabic, it's like God willing, it will happen. So after the fourth visit, when I would go back to the palace, because of high security and privacy, she would not do anything over the phone. I go back, and this time she says, "Oh my gosh, Amirah, my husband's coming home early on Thursday, and Thursday's like the Friday for us in the Middle East." And she goes, "He's coming home early. He's never done that in 15 years, and he's buying her all these gifts, which were over the top, more than usual." And so all of these things are these aches and pains she has in her body are disappearing. And she's all of a sudden feeling more passionate. Before she was going to bed with the kids. And now she's up till all hours of the night because she's interested in something she never had for herself, and that was trading currency.
Yes.
And she hired a coach. So she's, learning all about it, but she's passionate. She's excited. I said, don't be surprised if you get pregnant before you start hormone therapy. So we finished our series. She called me about 2 weeks after our series and she goes, Amirah, I have some news. And I go, yeah, you're pregnant. And she goes, Wallah, I thought you were a crazy lady, I swear.
So you
Um,
regenerated her
reset her energy.
fertility.
I reset,
Beautiful.
and all of her doctors could not believe it. And I said, your husband should send me a bonus because I just saved him a couple $100,000.
That's
And
right.
that
And
she
well,
had a
and they could
baby
well
boy.
afford it too, right?
She had a baby boy, and well, afford it. That kid, born into the family that he is, will make about 50,000 US dollars a month for the rest of his life.
Wow. Wow.
Staggering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, she couldn't believe it. She said to me, Amirah, you gave me the gift that nobody could give me. And that was the gift of being and feeling like a real woman.
Beautiful. I hope you enjoyed both parts of the episodes featuring my guest, Amirah Hall. Make sure you download, you share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine signing out, sending you healing spiritual vibrations through the quantum field.